Don't you know that you're a grown up? No games, no blunts. Not allowed if you're a grown up.
Hey, hello, welcome to GenXGrownUp. I'm John, I'm a GenXGrownUp. Welcome to our live stream. Live stream tonight, we're going to talk about Donkey Kong 2. So I can see already Super Bugle is in the chat, Ro is in the chat, MC Murr already in the chat. Hey guys, thanks for joining and welcome to the stream. We are having a look at Donkey Kong 2, but before we do that, we always like to talk a little bit about the channel. GenXGrownUp is a burgeoning media conglomerate. Really, we're a YouTube channel and a website of Generation Xers who grew up in the 70s and 80s, and we refused to grow up and stop indulging ourselves in the things that we loved growing up. That's video games and media and comic books, just all the stuff that we enjoyed, toys of our youth that we continue to enjoy. We have a YouTube channel that we would love for you to check out if you don't already watch. Up here on the screen, I have our website, which is GenXGrownUp.com, where we post everything that we do, including our podcast. We have a regular podcast that airs every Thursday. You can subscribe to it. You can go to our site at GenXGrownUp.com/pod. You can see all of our back issues. The easiest way to get it, of course, is to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play or Pocket Cast or TuneIn or whatever it is that you use. And I was just talking with Super Bugle. Hey, Mo is in the chat. Hey, Mo. I was talking to Super Bugle before the live stream started, and he was saying that he's sharing the podcast with some of his progeny on some of the drives. They listen to in the podcast in the car. Love to hear that. Thanks for sharing. And in addition, you can always find us on social media. We have Twitter, we have Instagram, and we have a Facebook page where you can look us up. So we'd appreciate you to check us out in all those places if you enjoy anything that you see we do here. But tonight we're focusing on a specific thing, the reason that you showed up to the live stream, and that is Donkey Kong 2. Donkey Kong 2, I recently discovered. I had never heard of it. I don't know how, being a Donkey Kong fanatic that I am. And Donkey Kong 2, there are a lot of ROM hacks that are out there you can find for console, Super Nintendo, NES, Genesis, whatever. And Atari, there's recent stuff for Atari 2600 that you can get. What I like so much about this one, it's not the only Donkey Kong kind of ROM adjustment that's out there. And I've seen some others. There's a great one that came out called Donkey Kong Remix that came out just in 2015. That is pretty cool, but I can't really get my hands on it because they don't release the ROM publicly, and it's only for a modification you can put into a real Donkey Kong machine, which I don't have. And I actually discovered Donkey Kong 2 while looking at a real machine. So just this past weekend, Mo and I went out to the Daytona Arcade Museum down at Daytona Beach. You can see in the corner of that, right there on the screen, they had a Donkey Kong set up with this Donkey Kong 2. And I was like, what the hell is this? Why is it I've never heard of this thing? And I played it a little bit. It was very tough, but I found out that it's something that you can get. It's actually a real adjustment. You can purchase a chip, put it in the cabinet, but they do have the ROM available. It's been available for a long time, just for one reason or the other. I've never looked at it and explored it. So when I got home, I invested some time in learning more about it. And man, is it cool. So speaking of the Daytona Arcade Museum, Mo and I did visit that, as I mentioned. We will have a video all about the Arcade Museum. It goes live on Saturday if you're interested. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel to make sure you don't miss anything and you can find out more. But without further ado, let's come back and take a look at Donkey Kong. Yes, Donkey Kong if you're from Georgia, right? So what's different about Donkey Kong 2? So I've been playing a little bit of it, and it's starting to become my favorite Donkey Kong game. I played the living hell out of the original Donkey Kong. I know that some people in the stream I've spent time with playing tons of Donkey Kong in the past and in the recent past. And it's awesome. It's one of my favorite games, bar none. But I've played it so much. And what I like so much about Donkey Kong 2 as opposed to like Donkey Kong remix that I mentioned, Donkey Kong Remix is almost, for me, it's like an effort to make Donkey Kong really, really hard. And now, this is very, very hard also, but it feels so much like it is to Donkey Kong what Miss Pac-Man was to original Pac-Man, so far in my opinion. They've kind of, think of how Miss Pac-Man added moving fruit and changing mazes, right? And Pac-Man is a tried and true, but it is what it is. think of Donkey Kong as Donkey Kong, and this is kind of the Miss Donkey Kong almost. Merce says, funny how Donkey Kong was nude, but DK Jr. had to wear a diaper. Yeah, yeah. He can fling his poo. He has no trouble with that. He can reach in the diaper. Don't worry about it. So Donkey Kong 2 added 4 new screens, and it remixed the existing 4 screens, and it added like these cool like interstitial, like Miss Pac-Man kind of animations between them. So I've spent some time playing it a little bit, and I want to give you a walkthrough of it and see just what I found so cool about it, and to know that you can play it. If you have MAME, I'm playing it in emulation right now. The ROM is freely available. You can go find it. But I super support the fact that if you have a Donkey Kong machine, you can go and grab this and play it and add it right to your Donkey Kong machine. So since we're playing the ROM, the first thing we'll look at is when you restart it, it doesn't destroy your Donkey Kong. It has a settings screen where you can set the number of lives. I'm setting it very high so we can see plenty. Where you get extra min. It remembers a high score. That's a chip on a battery that's built right in. No, if you CAS it, no, we know TRS-80 Super Bugle. He's talking about when you reset a TRS-80 Model 3, as it happened to us many times in middle school, and it says CAS, waiting for the cassette. The coinage, how much you want to put in. And what's really neat is you can switch it back to start up as original Donkey Kong or have the add-on board, like an expansion. Well, we're going to play Donkey Kong 2. So the first thing right off the bat, very, very different, obviously. This is not the starting screen. It should be climbing up the Girders level, right? So the first screen is unforgiving right off the bat. It's called the Foundry. I like this screen too. It kind of changes where they go up. All right, you've never seen this in Donkey Kong before. I could go and get that hat, but I'm not going to. Got to work my way across. I'll also mention that as I jump, my head can hit those moving girders, and I'll fall straight down, so I have to be careful about that. These are some pretty forgiving jumps. Hey, George is in the stream. How's it going, George? Good to see you here. George is the other third of GenXGrownUp, along with Mo, who is also in the chat. So you've got to make your way across these things. Another thing I noticed in playing it is that there's the fall distance is pretty forgiving compared to Donkey Kong. You'll see, especially when we get to some later levels, you can fall quite a ways before he busts his butt. And these are some pretty exacting levels. What's really neat, though, is we get into some of the remixed levels, the creative things that they did. Again, they didn't just try to make it harder. They did some really creative things with it, I think. Look out, fireball. No fireball. Okay, great. The next level you'll recognize is the Girders. I like how the numbers tick up, too, when you go down there. This looks almost identical. And in fact, in the first level, I've not found anything different about it. It does get quite a bit harder on successive levels, though, I will mention. You can still make the jump to the first... Whoa, hello. Hello, two barrels. And all the physics and all the rules and everything. Something I'm really enjoying about it is every piece of new environment that's in the game, it comes from somewhere. You would recognize it from the original game. There are a couple pieces that feel like they're kind of like added into the character set, but by and large, it looks like everything is just repurposed. And you'll see what I mean as we get a little bit deeper into this. I would like to climb this ladder eventually, if you don't mind. Okay, really? I would like to climb this ladder. That's a good spot. Now, but you'll notice when I finish this level, this is awesome. Watch, they added this Miss Pac-Man-y kind of interstitial. Check this out. Just carrying all the stuff that you end up collecting later. Here comes DK. Drop, drop, drop. It's the little things like that that I just find really interesting. All right, 75 meters. What the hell, right? So these little sparks are very much like Mario's hideout in Donkey Kong Jr. You can't touch these sparks. So let's see if I can do properly or embarrass myself. And you've got to make your way. It's also very much like the rivets levels in that I have to clear these rivets, but I can't touch those sparks, as I mentioned. So I'm working my way across to get all these rivets. And as difficult, or, I mean, it's your opinion to guess, it is... Oh! Watch out for your head on that spark. As difficult as this kind of is, in later levels, the method for making the game harder seems to be just add more fireballs. More and more and more fireballs seems to be the mantra of this game for the later levels. Look out. Oh, I should have made that. Oh, no, no. Faith. Damn it. This is not going great. Luckily, we'll be able to see everything eventually because I did some save spots at every level. So if I do super poorly, we will be able to see everything. I even did practicing. Not that you could tell from my performance at this moment, but I did some practice. Where are you going to go, Fireball? Yep, going up. Great. No, thank you. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Now I can make my... Oh! I apologize. I really did practice. Well, you're getting a good view of this. So another interesting thing is that the structure of this game is such that you always go through all 8 levels. A level is all 8 levels all the way through. You get to see all of them each time. It's just that they get more difficult each time. Unlike the original Donkey Kong, where you had there was a sequence. First, you had board 1 and 5, or 1 and 4, and then you had 1, 2, and 4. And in this one, you'll get all 8 levels on every level. George says backwards jump. Yeah, that's how the pros do it, right? Backwards jump. That's not one of them. Some of these jumps too are pretty precarious, and you'll see more and more as it gets later in the game. The jumps are horrible. That's a forward jump. Backwards jump is coming, don't you worry. So I've got to clear all these plugs. When I do, it stops all the sparks. And then I can make my way to the top. I have to find out which way he's going to go. Of course he's going to come down this way. Yay! Psych. All right, now I can go to the top. Leap across. Got it. Okay. I like this jump hop. And then Peach falls down and grabs her. 100 meters. All right. So Pie Factory, at its surface, this appears to be identical to regular Donkey Kong, and I thought so too. Oh crap! Until I got to the very end, and there was something pretty surprising. So, you know how to finish this level? You get to the top, right? Yeah, mostly that's a crazy level. The one I just finished, absolutely. But by the way, that's not the craziest level. Oh, sorry. Again, we have save points, so we're able to see everything. This should be a very easy level. I don't know why I'm doing poorly. It must be performance anxiety. Well, I know that George is watching, and he's my Donkey Kong nemesis, so it's the criticism that I know he's quietly judging me as I fail. There we go. All right, make it at the top, right? Except you don't. You've got to go. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. You've got to actually make it all the way up to the princess. Is John losing his DK touch? Thank you, Mo. I really appreciate the vote of confidence. Super Bugle has placed a quarter in queue. He's like, this knucklehead is not going to be playing for very long. I'll be able to play very soon. All right. The point I was getting to is you have to make your way all the way to the princess. All right. I have to wait for him to come back. Oh, Merce says he had to leave and come back. And it wasn't playing. Oh, really? Video wasn't playing. Well, hopefully it is working for you now. All right. Then we get to another crazy level. Interstitial. Love it. Little hot foot. So you got a pie, got a barrel, all that stuff. All elements that were already in the game. Yeah, we're going to talk about who created this version. Oh, get ready for chaos. Yeah, right? You've already seen what's happening. So, up top, I'm going to see if I explain this while I'm playing without jumping in a pie. Up top, you'll see this, this lever mechanism. Now, I have to make my way up there and then make it across. I can jump pies. You can't jump those springs, though. So if a spring comes, you're pretty screwed. There we go. I made it across. I have to collect all these hearts. The hearts are what weigh down the lever so that I can make it to the top. Yeah, crazy difficult, says Ro. It just takes days of practice, that's all. Make it across. Okay. Now, I gotta go up. There are a couple more hearts that I have to get. There's one up there, as you can see. Got this heart. And I think there's 5 total. So I have that one, and then I got to get up top and go down. You say move the other heart down to the bottom. I'm going to ride this seesaw down. Yeah, it's something else, right, Murr? He says, this looks dudical. Like radical for dudes. I buy that. Okay, there's the last heart. I don't go for any of the bonuses because, look, I'm already almost out of time. It just now hit 1,000. And I've got to jump and jump again. Whew! So that puts us halfway through. The elevators, or Hellevators, as I've nicknamed them. So hey, take a look at what they've done with this. Oh, God. Ugh. Get across, get across. Oh, and I missed the hat. Total rookie move. And look, so the pattern on the jumpy springs, what chaos. Oh my God. Oh Lord, I missed it. There we go. Look how far you can jump. That's crazy. And there are a couple of spots where you can stand here. The spots are different, by the way. It's not the top of the elevator anymore. And look how long this jump is. Oh, pray for me that I make this jump. Then I come stand in the middle. And up. Whew, and I think we get another movie. Platforms are different heights? Yeah, they are. This is called the Trap. So he had said, I don't know where the apple comes from. I don't remember that in any of the sprites for the original game, but Ro was holding her breath. Yeah, me too. Okay, here's the one where I will die a couple of times, and then we can go and talk about who made this game. This is the craziest thing. Okay, so I've got to get under that pie maker. I die over, or I just kick the pie. Let me finish dying here. I got one more life. And then we'll take a breather and we'll talk about who made this game. Give him his props. Oh, that jump. Oh, that jump. Yeah, George says he held his breath in the Philippines. Yeah, George had a little medical scare in the Philippines when he was away from us, but we're glad to have him back and healthy. Ah, okay. Well, that's death. Let's talk about this game and what there is more information about it. So, George, don't go anywhere. You're going to want to see this. So, Donkey Kong 2, people have talked about it. It was made in 2006. There have been, again, like I mentioned, there are other hacks that have been made. 2015 is Donkey Kong Remix. There was a video we did. We went to, I think, the South Florida Game Room Expo when George and I went on a road trip, and we saw Donkey Kong Jr. Remix. They did a Donkey Kong Remix as well, and those are fairly recent. This became so popular that they even started creating cabinet art, so you could convert your entire cabinet over. Murr, you can play. The ROM's available. I'll throw it to you if you don't have it. He says he wants to play. Oh, I didn't want to go there. Come back. So here's the thing, though. So this was all created by a guy named Jeff Kulzicki. I'm mispronouncing his name, probably. I'm going to call him Jeff K. And he's got a whole site where he talks about this Donkey Kong 2, Jumpman Returns, all this cool stuff, the new levels. Mo says he does not want to play it. It would just piss him off. Well, it's because you're not a Donkey Kong expert like Murr. And so it's a chip you add to your Donkey Kong cabinet. It adds these modifiers. What I should also point out is this Jeff K guy, this is not the only thing he does. So how about this Dragon's Lair enhancement? Did I get anybody's attention? Dragon's Lair 2.1 enhances the gameplay of the original. Reorganizes the flow and structure of the rooms. Uses all the Laserdisc footage. Yeah, George is going, ooh! And uses extra found footage that was on the Dragon's Lair Limited Edition in 2002 and plays the game the way it was originally meant to be played with all the removed stuff in it. So it's an updated ROM that plays on the Laserdisc and uses all that stuff, also available from him. He's got a Space Ace enhancement. Original arcade Space Ace, new ROMs utilize all the footage of the Laserdisc and more in an organized fashion. Yep. He has free play, and so these are smaller modifiers, but they have like games that didn't have free play, like Phoenix and Frogger and Donkey Kong. He had those, and just modifier chips. Initially, he just put out the Donkey Kong Foundry, which was just that first level that I showed you, and then ultimately he put out the entire Donkey Kong 2 Returns. So, pretty cool stuff if you ask me. And there's more to see. I'm stuck on that crazy level, which we're going to jump to in a minute. Before I do, though, I like to take just a second here in the middle of the stream. Yeah, George Laserdisc Games, he's saying. I think George is actually working on a Laserdisc retrospective for the Gen X Grown Up YouTube channel. I didn't talk to you, Alexa. He's working on a Laserdisc retrospective. He is huge into Dragon's Lair and Space Ace 2, and he talks about Thayer's Quest all the time, one of his favorites. And he's working on a segment on the YouTube channel. So if you like Donkey Kong 2 or Laserdisc games or any of this stuff, and you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, we would love for you to be. You can subscribe right down below, join us. We'll always be up to date with what's going on with Gen X Grown Up, and you can see some really cool stuff like this.
No life, no fun. Don't you know that you're a grown up? No games, no puns. Not allowed if you're a grown up. No more watching shows till sunrise. Unacceptable for grown ups. Your dinner cannot just be French fries. Basically, life sucks as a grown up.
Yeah, you see George getting angry there toward the end of that promo. That's pretty standard. Rose says it's commercial time. Yes, it was. Yeah. Mike says thank you for hitting the 250 subs. Thank you very much. Yeah, we hit that just the other day. We've got 5 people watching live, 251 subscribers. That's a live subscriber count. If you're not subscribed and you subscribe right now, we'll see it tick up to 252, and that'll be you. If you have a friend who's interested in this kind of stuff, we still have about half the live stream to go. Let them know that we're over here doing nerdy stuff and send them the link. We would love for you to have them join in and have more people. I mentioned also we have the Gen X Grown Up podcast. You can always find us at genxgrownup.com/pod. You'll see it in the little ticker crawly thing that's going underneath there. And I'm looking at that site here now. It's on our website. If you go there, you can see our entire back catalog. Best of all, though, if you'll subscribe on iTunes or Google Play or Pocket Cast, Stitcher, or whatever it is that you use, you'll always get the latest episode of the podcast automatically delivered to you without fail. And keep in mind, we also have social media. George is our Twitter guru who manages our Twitter account. We have a Facebook page. We have Instagram. You can always find a way to follow us. You don't have to join all of them, obviously. That's overkill. We put all that information out there, so wherever you are, you can find our content. And the big thing that we need right now is if you are watching, you're enjoying what you're seeing here, we'd love when you give us a thumbs up. We'd love when you rate us on podcasts like iTunes, things like that. The big thing that helps us is to share us, to help get the word out and distribute. If you like what we're doing, help us reach that critical mass. There are more folks out there that are nerdy as us, that are nerdy as you, that are your friends that don't know about Gen X Grown Up. We would love for you to invite them to join us here. All right, enough of that yakking. Let's get back to Donkey Kong 2. All right, so I mentioned I saved some slots. So we're going to jump right into, I think it's slot 7. Nope, that's too far. There we are, slot 6. This is that same level. This is called the mixer. We're mixing these pies. Now, I didn't cheat to get here. I actually got here of my own power and saved that slot. I didn't grab it from somewhere else. So at one point, I did well at this game. These jumps, as you can see, they're really wide. Or I can jump in the fire. Great. Okay, let me calm down and stop talking about it and do the jumps instead of what I just did. I want you to see how tight these jumps are up top. I even practiced more before the live stream so that I could not embarrass myself. These are really unforgiving. Really, I'll just screw the umbrella right now. All right, we'll see if my practice paid off. I've got to get under there and jump the next pie pan. Like that! Woo! Man. Okay, that's one. Now, so I don't bore you, I'm going to quickly save this slot. So if I die, I can continue from here. It's not easy. I've got to make my way across there while it's down. Made it! Woohoo! All right. Now, we're not home free. We have a bunch of jumps that are really, really wide jumps again. There we go. And up. You'd think you get past all that pie crap and you're home free, and you are not. Okay. This one's pretty easy. Then 2 more hard ones. Made it. Then past the pie. Oh! Okay, we'll continue from right here. I really want you to see what's after this. I can't believe no one's heckling me harder. You really let me down, George. Oh, here we go. Mike Creamer says, didn't George practice a game before shooting a GXG Plays episode? I don't think it ended well for him. What did you practice? Remind me. So you're saying that practice is bad? We shouldn't practice? It ruins your natural juju? Yeah, I could see that. Another wide jump. Ugh, made it. Okay. Pay attention. Let's not screw up this jump. Woo! All right. All right, let me get to the last screen. The last screen is maybe the coolest change, and it looks like no change at all. Nidhogg! That's right. Mike says Nidhogg. Yeah, George loves playing Nidhogg with me. And Nidhogg too. That's right. Oh! Okay, George, it's not the controller. It isn't the controller. All right. So the rivets is not that much different. I was busy reading your comments. That's why I fell. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. And I cheat. I don't cheat. It's really worth getting to the second level of these boards to see how they make things crazier with just more fireballs. All the same, all the same. Come on, fireballs. Of course they're not going to come get hit. Why would they? That makes sense. When I first saw the ending of this 8th level, I chuckled out loud, and I hope you do too. It's a neat... It might have been the thing that made me say, okay, this might be my favorite Donkey Kong game now. Because it's just the right amount of kind of reverence to the original and just a cool add-on. So here we go. Ready? Jump. We know what happens here, right? He hangs on. Then he falls. It's little things like that, but it's really cool. It adds so much. And we get a little ending screen. Captured. I'm going to pause it right there. Captured, right? That goes straight into Donkey Kong Jr. He's in the same cage that we're going to see in Donkey Kong Jr. It really connects these two. Do you have a graphic somewhere to live stream that I can use on Twitter? Do I? Yeah, I do. Yeah, that I can give to you. I'll take just a minute while I grab that to talk about the Daytona Arcade Museum that we went to, where we first saw this Donkey Kong machine. I'm going to go and grab this file for you. We visited this. This place is awesome. It's this guy's actual collection. And he moved from New York, and he turned it into a place where you can pay $20, go all day, and while you're there, you can play all these games for one price. And the things are in amazing shape. Amazing shape. They really are. It's down in Daytona Beach, Florida. And I could see myself going there probably, once a month or so. I know that, George, you were left out. You didn't get to go with us. But if you come and visit, we'll go down again for sure. They keep your high scores. All your high scores they maintain on little stickers. And we'll have a video all about the Daytona Arcade Museum on Saturday. We'll have a video that comes out on the channel. If you want to see that, be sure you subscribe down below and you'll be alerted to it. Michael says, I can't beat him at MK either, George. I think it's just John. So maybe I'm always cheating. I'm always cheating. So the point I wanted to make was this is Donkey Kong exactly as he appears in Donkey Kong Jr. So this DK2 really kind of connects the two games together. You leave him right where DK Jr. shows up to go and fetch him. So let's look at kind of what happens after this. We're not going to play through the whole group more, but it goes back down to 25 meters. I'm going to do a quick save here so that after I die. To add to it, more fireballs. That's the solution. So now, as if it weren't enough, fireballs are bouncing chaotically. And you have to make sure no fireball pops up before you jump across. Yeah, crazy. Whoa, that was near death. And look for times when there's no fireballs like that. Ah! And I bumped my head. Just fireballs everywhere. So, it's important to get to the second level because remember the first time through going to the main girders, fireballs, was pretty much the same as regular girders. I want you to see the bananas that they throw at you. Come on, really? Just put them all right there. Don't put fireballs anywhere else, just right where I am. I want you to see how they ramp up the difficulty for the regular, what was level 1 of DK. Yeah. Oh, damn. How could you deal with that? I mean, the fireballs are there. And let me say, in later levels, there's like 3 fireballs popping up. I don't know how you deal with that kind of bananas. I made it across 1. Made it across 2. Couldn't take that one. Taking that one. Okay. I don't know if this is just luck, or maybe I'm just not smart enough to figure out what the pattern is I have to avoid. But the fireballs seem to pop up in random positions as far as I can tell. Oh! We'll try it one more time. It's decidedly difficult. I'm not afraid to admit. But, you know, at this point, I've played Donkey Kong so much that, I mean, yes, the later levels are hard, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not like a world master or anything, but it's kind of the same thing over and over. And this adds so much variety while feeling so much like the original in spirit and tone. Granted, I haven't had a lot of exposure to the remix. Maybe I would feel that way about the remix if I had the opportunity. But I hope you're seeing what I'm talking about here in terms of just how much it feels like the original, but an expansion on it. We'll try one more time. It's the last life. I say we'll try one more time. That's all we can. Ah! It's tough. You should definitely try it. Not a bad score, though. Yeah, we'll put our name in. Great. So before I continue, let's take a little more look at the ROM, the modification that you get when you get this. When you boot the system, I showed you that you can hop in here and you can change the settings. What's really cool is that you can set it to be a DK game or a Donkey Kong Jr. game, as I mentioned. But if you have it on free play, if you're just playing the game, and this is a DK2 game very clearly, when it starts. Yeah, oh yeah, sorry, George, the Twitter graphic I threw in our Dropbox for you. So it's right there where it should see it pop up. So here we can have a DK2 game, and by just holding down the 2 buttons, you don't have to reboot the system. Hold down player 1, player 2, start. And it pops up and says switch to Donkey Kong. And it does. And then you can play regular DK. If I hold down 1 and 2 again, I can switch back to DK2. And I'm back to playing DK2. Which is pretty awesome. I'm going to pop back over to this board. The elevators are some pretty chaotic things that I want to take a look at again. So Mo, you were making some observations. By the way, I call it the elevators. That's not the name of it. It's actually called elevators. But this one's the greatest deviation from the original. So 3 sets of elevators going in 2 different directions. Very narrow elevators. Come on! Fireball, there he is. Yeah, and you mentioned there are different spots. Good, I got the hat. Then I have to work my way down and across. I don't know if there are any shortcuts like there are in the original elevators. Whoa! That was close. Over. I've got to jump at it. And the long jump, that looks like that would kill you. So that jump distance might be modified for DK2. This long jump is also a killer. I've died there many times. I made it that time. You can stand there, and the other place you can stand, instead of on top of, is between the elevators. And then you can run up and take this, which is pretty cool. I'll hop over to the other one to kind of analyze this. The other things about this that I find really interesting is, while I'm not playing it, is there are, as this thing is filling the pies, both the empty pie plates and the full pie plates can kill you. So it's not enough to jump the pies and then run underneath. You have to jump the pies, and then while you're crossing under this big stamper, what was that in was it called the Whompers or the Chompers? What was that in Galaxy Quest? It's like, whoever designed this should be fired. As this thing is stomping down and dropping pie filling in that cement, whatever it is, you've got to get under that, but over the damn plate, which you saw me do once, which I'll try to do one more time. But it's so amazingly difficult. It took me, the Chompers, thank you. Yeah, George. It took me so many times to get through this the first time. Oh, or you can anticipate the pie moving and it doesn't. That also happens. Yeah, I know. So, yeah, I die in that spot so many times in practice, to the point where I saved it right there so I could get a little better at it. Okay, go pie. There we go. And if you get this on your own to play it, there's a place you kind of need to stand and be ready. Like, kind of stand here, then jump it, and then jump that one. Oh, it's so close. It is unforgivingly close. And then this one, you just got to run as soon as it drops. And it's like, so many places to die. See? It comes back up and hits me. So many places to die so easily on this board. And then on top of that, there are the long jumps on top. So let's real quickly analyze another one of these pieces. Not that one. Nope, where are we at? 4? Yes. This one might be more difficult than the other one. Thankfully, it's a little less brutal. What they add in more difficult layers, or difficult levels later, is they add... Right now, the pies are coming like every 6 or 7 is a pie. Oh, and you get hit. Mur has to leave. Later, Mur. He's got a live stream coming up shortly, right? In later levels, it's like spring pie. They come back to back really, really fast. George says, Mur, thanks for holding down his podcast seat. That's right. Yeah, MC Mur was a guest on our podcast for the last 4 episodes. The last of those just dropped today. And while George was away overseas, both enjoying his vacation and spending some time in a hospital due to his medical issues, Mur was holding down the seat for him, keeping it warm. George, though, will be back on duty for the next podcast next Thursday. And not only that, I can tell you... I think I just died. Yep. I can tell you that we have scheduled our next backtrack. And our next backtrack podcast you won't want to miss. We're going to be talking about what you did in car rides before we had Game Boys to keep us busy. All the games that we played and the things that we did in cars as our parents were taking us on long vacations. We're going to reminisce about that. The Backtrack podcast, as you know, is a podcast where we pick just a single topic and we drill in deep on that. And we'll be talking about killing time in cars before we had toys, electronic toys to keep us busy. From license plate bingo to whatever, right? Oh, there we go. So I made it across. There's so many ways to die in this. If you think of the original Donkey Kong, I mean, aside from getting hit by a barrel or a fireball, or jumping off the side, I mean, you're okay. But there's so many ways to die. I see that Super Bugle is back. Welcome back. We're kind of over. We've been through the game one time. We're kind of analyzing the differences. I feel like that's in a different spot than it was last time. Whew. Anybody else sweat when I did that? I did. Come on. Go, Fireball. You can go down. There we go. Really? He's a jerk. And then I have to finally get the last heart. And that gives me enough weight to make it to the top. I nearly died right there. Under jumping that pie. Rose says, yes, that heart was in a middle bottom last time. So it's even mixing it up on regular levels. Wow. That's something else. Whew. All right. So that is Donkey Kong 2. I had a lot of fun taking a look at it. You should definitely take a look at it. If you have MAME or you know how to use MAME, I encourage you to go and pick it up. And you can grab this ROM, search online for the ROMs. If you don't know how to access it, drop me a private line at john@GenXGrownUp.com and I will help you out in how to find this game and the emulator and how to play it. It's not difficult, but if you're not experienced with emulators, I can understand why that might be a little daunting. So as we wrap up this live stream, thank you everyone who joined. We really enjoy doing these. We'll do more of them in the future. Remember, subscribe to us on YouTube, check out our podcast, and check out our website. You see right there, GenXGrownUp.com. Everything that we do is on there. Sometimes we do audio, sometimes we do video, and those are posted the places I mentioned. But sometimes we just do articles, movie reviews, things like that don't make it to those media outlets. You can find all that right here. You can come to the website and go, I want to know more about Donkey Kong. And you search for that. Every time we've referenced and mentioned Donkey Kong, you'll find it here. We had a podcast where we mentioned it, talked about it in pixels, and then the live stream tonight. All that's there. So everything we do is there. So you should check out our website as well. Thanks so much for joining us here on the live stream. I'm going to sign off now. I will mention that MC Murr, who joined, who's a good friend of the channel, he and Captain Retro have a live video podcast that's going live at 9 o'clock. If you search for CAPTN Retro, you'll see that. They have a very special episode and a guest tonight. That's going live at 9. So until the next live stream, thanks for joining us, and I will see you guys next time.
Don't you know that you're a grown-up?
Subscribe to Gen X Grown Up by clicking right here and enable notifications so you won't miss a thing. Use the comments down below to tell us what you think, and while you're there, a thumbs up would be great too. Please share this online wherever you hang out. Connect with GXG on social networks by clicking right here.
Basically, life sucks as a grown-up.